Good afternoon, guys. I'm Logan with the Backwoodsman Institute. Today we're going to be talking about blood trailing and tracking an animal that you might have just shot so you can harvest it and put some meat on the table. Pay attention, you guys are going to learn a lot. Catch you in a bit. First thing I want to talk about is our duty as a hunter. We should make a clean, effective, humane shot at any game we might be hunting. And in the event that it does run off, we need to make a valiant effort and do everything we can to locate this animal so we can harvest it. Alright, first let's talk about the after shot. Alright, you should have the last sight picture in your brain. You should know what that last shot felt like. If it felt good, if you thought it was a good shot, or if you knew it was a bad shot, you knew it was a miss straight off. Alright, you can also see the reaction of the game you're trying to shoot. Like if you just shot a deer, the deer will sometimes buck up, you can tell, or they'll drop to the ground and then get up and run. You got to watch the reaction of the game to see if you hit. After you shoot, listen for a crash in the woods. If it's out of earshot, then you're definitely going to have to find a good trail and follow it to see where it's laying down at. But I'm going to talk about that stuff here in a little bit. Now, I usually like to wait about an hour after I go try and locate the deer, even if I hear a crash, not necessarily a deer, just a game in general. So if I hear the crash, or even if I don't, I'm going to wait at least an hour, because I know some other animals can come in, and if it isn't all the way dead, I want to make sure it'll die without pressure, and I won't keep pushing it and keep its adrenaline going, and then it'll run farther and farther and farther, and it'll be harder for you to locate it. Now what I like to do, I always go to the initial point, and I look for hair, blood, and the impact of the round or the arrow, whatever I use. If I see where the deer ran off to and I can see the trail, and then it went over this hill and then I lost eyesight of it, if you are crushed for time, like it's getting dark or it's going to be raining, something like that, then you can go where you last seen that deer and look for signs for there. When you're looking at the aspect of hair, brown hair, white hair, whatever, on a deer, it'll tell you where you hit at. Alright, brown hair is good unless it's far back, but you should know with that last sight picture. And with the blood, I'm going to tell you the types of blood here in a second, where you hit at. If you hit white hair, that you're starting to hit a little low. Alright, so look at the type of hair and picture it on the animal, and then you can kind of get a second guess of where the bullet hit. Alright, let's talk on the aspect of blood. Okay, so dark, watery blood is a pretty good sign. It's either artillery or a heart shot. Alright, bubbly pink blood is also a good sign. That institutes a lung shot, and a lot of times with lung shots you can see pieces of lung that are on the ground, and that's a real good sign that deer's not going to go very far, especially if you hit a double lung. It's going to run out of oxygen, and it won't run too far off. Alright, thick dark blood can also be a good sign. So with thick dark blood, what that indicates is a liver shot. Now if you get blood with like brown and green and like bile and food particles in it, that indicates not so good. That means you hit it too far back or too far low, and it's a gut shot. You might be tracking this deer for a long time. That doesn't mean that it won't lay down and pass, but you're going to be tracking it for a while. They know, and they're tough, and they're going to do everything they can to stay alive as long as they can. That's their instincts. Now I'm going to be talking about if you can't find any blood sign, but you knew you hit, you had blood sign in the initial, and you just can't follow it no more. I'm going to be telling you a little bit, some tricks that I've come across in the years that I've hunted, and hopefully they'll help you out. The first tip I got for you guys, whenever you start tracking, you find your initial point, mark it, either with orange tape, some trail markers, whatever you got, or just kick leaves up off to the side. Don't disturb the path that the deer might be taking. Alright, so you mark your spot, you walk, find your next spot, mark that, same way. If you can see a good spot in front of you, always walk looking at the ground, but pick your head up, look for that deer. You might be on a drop of blood right here, hit 50 yards away on a hill or something, you can see the deer laying there. So you don't have to track it all the way up to it. Keep your head up. That'll also, if the deer isn't dead, it'll give you a chance to get a follow-on shot. So keep your head up. If you see where twigs are broken or you see a big spot of blood, you can skip a little bit, go to there, and then just find the path that the deer was taking and keep trying to get it. Alright. Now, using deer as a reference, because a lot of people hunt deer, and it relates to you guys a lot better. Our deer, whenever they get hit, do they take deer trails every time? No, sometimes they might, but what they're going to take is the path of least resistance. Alright, wherever they're going to get to, wherever they want to go, probably a safe area, because everything that gets shot wants to die in safety, and by itself, they're going to take the path of least resistance. Alright, so if you lose a spot of blood, or you lose a trail, just pick your head up, try to find the path of least resistance, and whenever you pick your head up, you might be able to see a whole blazing path that the deer just kicked up leaves. You're not so suckered in, got tunnel vision on that one blood spot and trying to find blood spot. Keep your head up a little bit. Now if you lose sign of the trail, go back to the last spot that you had, that's why we mark it, and do a sweep of the area, probably out about 20 feet in all directions. Alright? Now obviously you're going to double back across the trail, but look for that extra leg that it went, or that where it might have jutted off to the right or something like that. But don't get frustrated. I know it's hard, and believe me, I know. I got a segmented video that I'm going to show you guys here in a little bit about tracking a coyote that I shot, and it's from the archives. It's back in February. I forgot I had this video, but I'm glad I got it, and then I can talk about this. Because bow season's coming up very soon, and a lot of you guys are going to be stuck in this situation.